Alright guys, finally got a plan. Alright, so I took all the information from you guys on the drivetrain swap options. I had something going on Facebook, I had something going on the Instagram, had something going on here on YouTube, and it was really pretty even, 50-50 on keeping it AMC or swapping in something else. And the swapping in something else was kind of all over the place. So really the AMC had the majority, and then things just kind of happened, when you're collecting parts. Sometimes some good parts just fall into your lap. So check this out. Did some horse trading, picked up another AMC 360. So I'm just gonna rebuild this guy. Well, kind of rebuild it, just do a little warm up on it, and put new gaskets in it, cam, intake, new timing set, and just kind of do a good once over looking at everything. I'm not going to do any machine work, whatnot, but I can at least clean it up really good and warm it up a little bit. And then when I pulled the motor out of the Big Chief, that'll give me a chance to really clean up that engine bay, get all the nasty grease and oil that's been leaking for years out of the engine bay. So behind the AMC, I'm going to go with the AMC Turbo 400. Just like it's in it, but I will take this GM Turbo 400, take them both apart, put that output shaft in the AMC housing. Then this will have the 32 spline output shaft I need to mate to the MP203. Then found some more parts on Craigslist. Craigslist is a great place. Finally sourced my MP205. So just this section right here of the MP203 that will mate to the MP205. So I will have straight through 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 4-to-1 low range super crawl ratio. So tonight what I want to do is see if this engine fires. I think it's safe to say I can count on one hand the number of times I've been screwed over on Craigslist. I feel pretty confident about this motor. Guy seemed really straight up, but I'd like to know what I'm working with. So tonight we're going to try to just fire this thing up right here in the shed. Alright, so on the AMC, the starter does not bolt to the block. It bolts to the transmission. So I got to bolt this transmission to the motor. There's no torque converter in there, so I won't be spinning the transmission or anything. I'm not going to hook it up. I'm just going to simply mount this to the back of the motor so I can mount up the starter. Then to fire up a carbureted motor, you really only need a handful of wires. One to the starter, the negative to the block for a ground. Got to power up the coil. Oh yeah, I gotta show you one other thing on this motor. Check this out. The guy swapped in an HEI, so this is a Summit HEI distributor to get rid of the old Ford system that Jeep used on these AMC motors. This is a much better setup and it's brand spanking new. So really excited about that. So yeah, just need to power this thing up, power to the starter, hook up the ground cable to the motor, and just a little jumper wire to engage the starter motor, and it should fire up. This thing's got a mechanical fuel pump. Let's hook up this line here to my gas can, and it looks new. So it should work. So I won't need to power up a fuel pump. One other thing I'm excited about with this motor is still got the AC compressor, and this is the York style, so I should be able to use this for onboard air. My Jeep, this was missing all kinds of goodies on this guy. So let's see if we can get this sucker fired. Thought before I get too carried away, I should probably check the oil. Just needs a quart. Alright, transmission's bolted up. Starter's in there. It's kind of dark. And I found some random wire. Pulled the battery out of the Jeep. Got an extra starter solenoid. So we'll get all that hooked up and show you what that looks like. Alright, so should be able to just touch this to that to excite the solenoid, but I want to get this motor chain down real quick. Don't really want to get hurt, you know? Alright, let's see what happens here. Had to ground the starter solenoid here. Alright, here goes nothing. Hopefully I don't kill myself. Sweet! Now that I've got all my used parts collected, it's time to start buying parts to get them all hooked together. So the first thing I'm going to do is get this motor warmed up. Then the next thing, rebuild the Turbo 400. Then at that point, I will try to sell the drivetrain that's in my Jeep, which will then pay for the doubler kit from Off-Road Design, so I can tie this guy to this guy, get some new drive lines, and the Jeep is going to be awesome. So in the next Big Chief episode, we'll be tearing into this. New gaskets, cam, intake, timing set, get it all painted up looking good. Probably break it down into a couple videos, you know, tear down and then a rebuild, and then an install. So I'm also going to try to do a little 0 to 60 comparison in the Jeep. It's not fast anyway, but you know, this motor is pretty much the same as the one that's in the Jeep. It's just a stock 360. So I'll do a 0 to 60 test with the one that's in it, and then a 0 to 60 test when this gets installed with the new cam, intake, etc. See what kind of performance we gain out of this sucker. Thank you so much for watching this video. Excited to hear this thing run. Like always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe.